Hey everybody, Blaise here. Look at that. This is a wolf. And I thought, you know what? Might be kind of fun to show you guys in a quick video how to draw wolves. I've got a much more extensive course on my website on how to draw wolves, coyotes, and foxes. But I thought, you know, it might be kind of fun to do a series of videos where I take you through quickly and show you how to draw various animals. And today I thought, let's start with a wolf. I always think about what's happening under the skin. Right there, the skeletal structure. Not just the head, but the whole body. But I like to show people the head. There's a lot in here that we take for granted. We take for granted the cheekbones, the muscles that connect to the top of the head, that sort of thing. There's a little break right here where the nose cartilage attaches to the bridge of the snout. And so you're going to see a little bit of, you know, a little irregularity there in the snout itself. Little things like that that people take for granted. And I thought it might be kind of fun to show you in a very quick video. So why don't we take a quick shot and let's draw a wolf portrait from the front. Now, one of the things about wolves from the front, they've got kind of this square shape to their head, but it's turned on its edge or on its corner. So you have this diamond kind of shape like so. I'm going to bring that snout right down here because when a wolf looks at you like this, he's not looking at you, the skull isn't oriented like that. The skull is actually oriented like that, okay? So when you draw a wolf portrait, you want to think about that nose being kind of down low, right down in here. I'm going to draw that center line coming right down. And then here, I'm going to think about those eyes, right about halfway down, right in here, equidistant from each other. And there's kind of this diamond shape to them as well. See that? There, look at that. And then they've got kind of this brow that comes up over the top of their, you know, like we have brows. And there's this little bit of a shape that comes up like so. Now the eye is round inside that diamond shape. And you can color the rest of that in kind of heavy. It's almost like a mascara that they've got. Comes right off the ends like so. Look at that. Now because the head is oriented down towards us, you're going to see the top of the nose, which might be a little bit lighter. Then the front of that nose is darker. Remember I was saying that break in the nasal area? That's right about there. Now, you can also see the cheekbones. There are the cheekbones right there, okay? And you can see that on a wolf, mainly because they have a color separation there as well. So there's those cheekbones coming down like so. I like to come in. And it comes back out because the canines kind of come out, bulge out a little bit underneath the skin. Now notice how close I get that top lip to the bottom of the nose. They have dark lips, wolves. And then there's that bottom chin, which you don't see a lot of. You don't see much of it at this angle. See that? And you might see a little bit of those dark lips on the side of the snout coming down like this. And then there's fur that comes off like that. Look at that. Now let's draw a little bit of a color separation coming right off the nose and right up into the eyes. So this part of the fur right here on the snout is actually a little darker. We got a little bit of a separation coming up in here, a little bit of the forehead. Then this in here it's a little darker, but it's not as dark as the top of the snout right here. But we get some darker fur right along in there, And then that blends in with the rest of the snout. See there? Look at that. And we have a little darkness in the eyes as well. Now I'm drawing in charcoal. You can follow along in pencil. And then right off of the cheeks, we have color separations and fur that go right into the side. Now before we get to that, let's kind of even off the top of the head right there. And the ears come together very closely. They come way up when they're sticking, unless they're back, you know. They got a little break in the edge right there. And they come in just a little bit. See that? And they come up here, come down. There. See that shape? Now we can kind of draw over our established shape here and get some fur shapes in here. There. Putting a little shadow underneath, just like so. Maybe there's a little shadow going across the eye from that brow. You know, the brow will cast a shadow right across the eye. And we'll get those pupils. Those pupils can be kind of small and very intense. See that? Looking right at you. Oh, that feels pretty good. And I'm just pushing a little bit of that darkness around the eye, just a little bit more there. Now, at this point, I want to color in the fur in the direction that it's growing. That helps with the textures. And notice how I'm not coloring in where that brow is. That tends to be a little lighter with the color separation. That fur goes straight out. And it tends to get a little darker out here. Now, there are white wolves and there's black wolves and things like that, and they'll be colored a little different than what I'm drawing here. But this is a typical kind of gray wolf kind of coloring. Look at that. Maybe a little bit of the eye socket markings right there. Sometimes you get a little bit of the trench. There's a trench right here, right down the middle of the skull. See that right there? A little pit, trench that goes along the length, right down to our nasal opening here, which feeds down into the nose. A couple of whiskers. Oh, I love drawing wolves. And here, I just kind of get in kind of free form and just start drawing the fur kind of textures in there. Now, you got fur coming off the inside of the ear, like so, and fur off the outside of the ear coming in like so. It really just kind of leaves a small kind of hollow area where it gets dark as it recedes back into the ear. And that fur is different colors. The back of the ear tends to be somewhat dark. Here we go. They do have a bit of a forehead, so I'm just going to indicate that there, and a little bit of shape to that brow. Let's finish coloring this back. I love drawing in charcoal. See how bold it can be? It's messy. You'll make a mess doing it. But boy, it's fun. There, see that? Now I like to. I get the other fur in here. Remember, we just started with this square shape and then built on that, right? Just start with that square shape and then build on it. Here I'm giving a little bit of shadow on the left side of the head. Give him a little more shadow here. There we go. Oh. Man. Wolves they're so beautiful. Not nearly as dangerous as people make them out to be. They are not. They call them vermin and all kinds of horrible names. Wolves are not. They are incredibly smart, intelligent, necessary parts of the wild, the environment. Amazing animals. There we go. And here I can just add a few fur textures. Now, I can add his neck coming down. I'm just going to draw the shape in first and then add those fur textures. And here I have that snout kind of casting a shadow as the neck kind of turns away from the light and goes into shadow. Make it a little dark underneath here. But this is how you draw a wolf from the front. To start with that basic shape. And then you can build up those little details. See that? Not much to it. And if you have an eraser, like I can come in right now, I can come in and just hit a little spot right there, or there might be a little bit of light. Hitting that eye, and hit it right here. There might be a little bit of light hitting that eye. And then to emphasize that, what I'll do is I'll come in and just ever so slightly darken around that highlight. And darken around the highlight here. And you get this nice feel. And there is our wolf from the front. Look at that. There he is. Look at that personality. Now let's draw a wolf in action. Let's start with a circle. Okay? Now with a wolf, as with many dogs, if you find the top plane of that head, right here. If you look at the top plane of that head and then the top plane of the snout, there's a curve that comes down, but the top plane of the head and the top plane of the snout are parallel, meaning they're going the same direction. So we get a forehead, and then we get the snout coming in like so. Okay? So this direction, that direction, they're parallel. And you get the roundness of the muzzle underneath. Now in this case, that fur that's coming off the cheeks is coming right out towards us, right? And we're going to have him in action, so I'm going to have some of that fur that's coming off the bottom kind of swaying back. Okay? Now here, I think this time, let's go ahead and add the eye, which moves kind of the same direction as the top of the head. Comes down. Just like so. Still have that shape coming off of here. And we got the cheekbones coming back. Here's the nose. I'm going to leave the top of the nose white and shiny. There's the nose there. Here's a little kind of indication of where those canines would be under the skin. The top lip kind of hangs over, but then coming underneath, you'll see the darkness of the bottom lip and that bottom jaw coming around like so. Just like that. Okay? Now here, let's have him with his ears back. He's running, and his ears turned back. Coming off that ear is the fur. Like so. Now, here we're going to have his head up. Okay, I want to get a flow through the body, like so. I want to get a flow through the body, so I'm going to have him galloping through the snow. So there's that dark ear. The darkness here coming off of there, and then going right into the fur there. So here, I'm just going to darken that a little bit. Maybe not so much here, but a little bit darker along the bottom, remember? And then not as much darkness above that eye. One thing I want to change a little bit, just the profile of that nose, because it's going to come down. And there's our break right there. There it is. So here we got all this, we got the neck coming up. And underneath here, there's a shoulder blade. You know, he's got his shoulder blade just like we do. Except on a four-legged animal, it's on the side of their body. With humans, our shoulder blade is on our back. Well, this is, they're a four-legged animal. Their bodies are squished from side to side because they walk on four legs. So here, that shoulder blade is here. But in this case, I think I want to have the shoulder blade because it turns. I'm going to have that shoulder blade kind of coming back. It rotates like this. So there's a shoulder blade coming down, the shoulder here, and then the back leg coming back this way. So you're going to get a lot of fur coming down like this. See that? Now before I get too far into here, I want to get those back legs because the back legs are coming forward. So there's the pelvis back here. With the pelvis, there's a hip. You know, I'm always thinking, when you're drawing animals, always think about that anatomy. What's going on with that anatomy? And that just takes time and study. I get a lot of questions about, you know, how do you study anatomy? You just do. You look up everything you can and you study it. In this case, I've got the belly. Now the rib cage comes in like so. The rib cage is in here, right? So we got the belly fur coming this way. And it kind of overlaps that knee, because the knee is right here. There's that thigh. And the femur is actually about in here. And I'm going to, if you could draw through the fur, you have all the quadriceps there. And then because we've got this flow going through the body, I want that tail to come like that. Tail's actually up a little higher. There, you see there? Now, the knee is here. I'm going to draw that femur coming down. The hip is right about there. I think about that femur coming in and connecting where the knee is. Okay? Here's the calf coming forward. Lots of fur comes off the back of the leg. It's really shaggy. Just like that. There's an ankle, just like we have. And there's the heel, the Achilles tendon coming up. There, and the foot coming in like so. You see that? Now, this foot, the front foot, here's the shoulder coming way back. It's coming back here like this. And it's coming off the ground, but behind our dog here, our wolf. Just like that. There's muscle and everything, but that's kind of all bunched up under the fur. Okay? So we get a nice kind of line of action coming right down through here. We'll just color that in. See that? And here, we're going to imagine on the other side, the other foot's come in, but now it's starting to come forward. Like that. See there? It's starting to come forward. So you might catch a little bit of it on the other side here. There's the dew claw, which is the thumb, basically. It's the equivalent of their thumb. go. You see that? And then we got to get the other foot on the other side, the back leg, coming down. And I want that one to kind of be stretched a little bit further. So I'm going to put that foot there. Coming back, and the heel is there. Just like so. Drawing these toes in. There. So there he is galloping along. And this is, if you're doing this in animation, this would kind of be the squash pose. This is where everything's kind of gathered up underneath the body. And then the back legs push off, the front legs will reach, and you'll end up, the next pose, sort of like this. Just like that. You'll end up with this long, stretchy pose. So, but this is the pose here. I figured this is the one I wanted to put him in. It's kind of the bunched up, everything gathered underneath the body as he runs through the snow. A little snow kicked up in the air. Drew that head. I drew the head a little bit big. That's all right. Now, a lot of times right here at the shoulder blade, we get some, just behind the shoulder blade, I should say, get some really dark markings in the fur. Almost like a V, it comes to a V on the back. And then as it comes down, it all lightens up. As it comes down towards the bottom of the belly, it all lightens up. There. So there's our wolf in an action pose. I gave you a little bit of an anatomy lesson. Now remember, I've got an entire course on my website, creatureartteacher.com, on how to draw wolves, coyotes, and foxes, where I go much more extensively in here. I've got hours and hours and hours of teaching on those animals, along with bears and big cats and all kinds of stuff, horses. But I thought it'd be fun to just do this short video just on how to draw a wolf. So there's a wolf running, just like so. Getting those feet up in the air, getting that. And then remember, this is the pose where his feet are kind of gathered up, and then this is where he reaches. This would be the next big pose, where he reaches forward and is running through the snow. There you go, just like that. All right, let's pull up that portrait. There's our portrait, our wolf from the front. What a handsome little devil. I love drawing wolves, I tell you what. Love drawing them. All right, our wolf from the front. And then our wolf running. So there you have it. I hope you learned something. I really enjoy teaching these. I'm going to do this as a series. We're going to be doing some more animals. But go on out there, draw some wolves, put some beauty back into the world, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.